Welcome friends, today we're going to talk about wholesaling. What is wholesaling? Very simple. It's a three-step process. You find a great deal, you get it on the contract, and you assign the rights of that contract to somebody else. Now let's go into more details. In a five-step process, we're going to find a great deal, analyze it, get it on the contract, reassign the contract to a cash buyer, and finally get paid for it. Step number one, finding a great deal. You have the option to find either an MLS property or an off-market property. Off-market properties are the ones that are technically not for sale. Example, probates, pre-foreclosures, upcoming auctions, shadow inventory, vacant properties. So we're going to pick pre-foreclosures. And then we're going to select a city. Bolingbrook. Now we're going to look for only pre-foreclosures with high equity. Over 50% high equity in Bolingbrook. We found 29 pre-foreclosures with high equity. I will click on the first one. Okay, we found a great deal. Why? Because the balance due is only $68,000. However, this property is worth ARV about $300,000. So the owner has a lot of equity, but yet he's in pre-foreclosure. That means that eventually the owner is going to lose the property if he or she does not become current with the loan. Okay, so step number one, we found a great deal. Now, step number two, let's analyze it. You need three numbers to analyze the deal. After repair value, we already know what that is. We can sell the property after the repairs have been made for up to $323,000. How much are you going to spend, or the flipper, or the individual who purchased the property, on the rehab? Based on the square footage of 1,400, 3-bedroom, 2-bath, it will range between $23,000 to $35,000, assuming it's a light to medium rehab. But you need to keep in mind that you always have to see the property from the inside. And finally, you need to know how much you're going to offer for the property. In this case, you have three options depending on your exit strategy, whether you're going to do a flip, a rental, and a wholesale. Since we're talking about wholesaling the property, that is the lowest of the three offers. Why? Because this takes into account that when you reassign the rights of the contract to somebody who's going to do a flip or a rental, you need to leave enough meat in the bone for them to make a profit. Okay? That is why it's the lowest offer. This offer takes into account that you're going to make a finder's fee of at least 5%. So the most we should offer for this property is $172,000. Okay? So that is step number two. Step number three is to get the property on the contract. How do we do that? We make an offer. So all you need to do is click on the make offer off market. Okay? This will generate a 2-page non-invasive contract that you can present to the owner in this case. Now, the owner is Laura. How are you going to get in touch with her? You can either call her or door knock on the door or send her a mailer. Okay? So that is step number three, making an offer. Step number four is reassigning the rights of that contract to a cash buyer. So who's a cash buyer? Cash buyer is somebody used to paying retail prices cash for properties primarily sold via the MLS. So we're going to give you the cash buyers. So I'm going to click on cash buyers, and we're going to find those cash buyers who bought properties in Bolingbrook and paid cash for them. once we find the cash buyers in Bolingbrook, we are going to market this property to them. And finally, is getting paid. How do you get paid? You get paid at closing. So this is the trick when you wholesale the property and get paid at closing. If your profit is going to be less than $10,000, you do an assignment. However, if your profit is going to be over $10,000, you do a double close. Doing a double close means that the seller doesn't know how much you are reselling the property for, and vice versa. The buyer, the end buyer or cash buyer, doesn't know how much you bought the property for. Therefore, nobody knows how much you are making, because if they find out, they might get upset, especially when you're making over $10,000. Okay, very simple. Less than $10,000 profit, you do an assignment. Over $10,000, you do a double close. Now, let me show you how easy it is to find the cash buyers in Bolingbrook. Search. These are going to be your target audience. 299 cash buyers right here. So these are the properties they bought cash. These are the cash buyers, and these are their mailing address. It is that simple, friends. Let's just quickly summarize the 5-step process to wholesale. Number 1, find a great deal. Number 2, analyze it. You need the ARV, the rehab, and your max offer. Number 3, get it on the contract by making an offer. Number 4, find a cash buyer who's going to pay you top dollars for your deal. And finally, get paid at closing. And you have 2 options. If your profit is going to be less than $10,000, you do an assignment of contract, where both the seller and the buyer know your fee. However, if your profit is going to be over $10,000, you need to do a double close, which means that neither the seller nor the buyer will know how much profit you are making. In other words, you do 2 closes back to back. I hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you.